So let's find our seat. I'm going to guide us towards the open awareness practice. You can use this guided meditation to do it on your own, or you can just learn the sort of steps here. You want to sort of ground yourself, get some kind of quiet or peacefulness or stillness, and then you can pick smaller chunks of your reality to allow your awareness to float around in until you are using complete open awareness, allowing your attention to roam freely throughout all experience and just staying awake for that. So let's start with a resource. Today, we're just going to start with the breath in the belly. But as always, if this does not feel resourceful for you, you would want to choose something else like the ground or your breath in your nostrils or your hands or just the sound of my voice. Concentrating with acceptance. Letting go of trying to control the breath. Notice that the breath will breathe without you needing to do anything. And this is the beginning of allowing ourselves to let go of control. I like to use the word waiting. You wait for the breath to come in and then you wait for it to go out. Now, waiting has a little bit of mental aspect to it because you think you know what's going to happen next, but it's a good start. You wait as if your breath may never come in. You just wait to see what happens next. And you bring your attention to basic sensory experiences. So, can you feel the pressure, the shape of your experience of the breath? Like, where's the boundary of the breathing experience in the belly? Coolness or heat, tingling, flow. When does it begin? When does it end? And we can just label it feel. As always, when I'm guiding, the labels are not as useful to you because I'm sort of becoming the labeler for you. But when you do this on your own, you really want to use the labels until your concentration is pretty good. So we're already practicing this sense of being awake. Can we feel a breath from beginning to end, from the in breath all the way to the turnaround to the out breath, all the way to the pause between the breath? Can we feel that experience from beginning to end? Very few of us can do that before we've meditated for a while. So it's not it's amazing how our mind will jump in the middle of the breath to tell us something. And so we're practicing not shutting the mind off at all, just being able to actually feel what's happening in the breath. That is in our conscious experience. So rather than driving to work and missing any part of it, we're not going to get lost in our thoughts anywhere along on the way to work. This is what's happening. We breathe in and we don't get lost. We breathe out and we don't get lost. To deepen this aspect of practice, just as a reminder, you can find resource aspects of this experience to really help you get sucked into it. To me, the breath is pleasure on the in breath as I'm taking in nutrients. Yum, 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 yum. And then relaxation on the out breath as I let go and surrender effort. And then there's a deeper relaxation as I let go of control and the breath starts to happen on its own. And the breath gets to follow its own organic rhythm. It relaxes your system to know that you are safe enough for your breath to just breathe whenever it's ready. There may be emotional feel in the area. And so we can keep that, or we can stay awake to that part of the experience without getting involved in it, trying to fix it or judge it, just letting that be part of the experience. The harder time we are having with concentration, the more we want to label, the more we want to come back to the resource part of our experiences, the more we want to give a little bit of space to our attention so that we have maybe a bigger object, like maybe I'll focus on the whole belly. These days, for instance, if I were to focus on the belly, I just focus right on the dantian, which is 2 fingers beneath the belly button and about a knuckle into the gut. That's where I focus, which is just this very small location. But that's a harder concentration task than just allowing yourself to focus on the whole belly area. They're both fine. Pleasure on the in breath, relaxation on the out breath. Okay, so for today, I'm going to lead us into the next thing. If you're starting to feel concentrated and peaceful, that you may either stay with this practice or you can just sort of softly open to this practice. That is letting go of really controlling the breath and the focus onto the breath and just allowing yourself to start to open your awareness. I'm going to lead us step by step here. So we have the breath in the belly, and I'm going to also say we have my voice. So we're just going to allow our attention now. And notice when your attention's on my voice, and notice when it's on my breath, on the breath in the belly. If your attention goes somewhere else, you can notice that it's somewhere else and bring it back to the voice or the breath in the belly. If it's on my voice, label it here. If it's on the breath in your belly, label it feel. And you can notice if it goes to something else, you can label it see, hear, or feel, and then bring your attention back. So I feel, I just hear my voice. My mind wanders to this voice I hear through the wall, hear. The bird, here. I bring my attention back to my voice or my belly. And let's just actually open that to hearing anything in your space and the breath in your belly. Hear, feel, Here, feel, feel. Okay, just do a quick scan of your body from your toes, up your ankles, up your shins, knees, thighs, groin, lower belly, solar plexus, chest, neck, head, top of the head. We're now going to keep all of our body in mind as well as any sounds. So it's any feels in our body and any sounds. Feel, hear, hear, feel, hear. And so my voice is not a distraction, it's a hear. That pain in your back is not a distraction, it's a feel. Now, we're sort of saying anything else might be a distraction, but we can just label those two for now. See, hear, or feel. So maybe you're distracted by um, a thought, and you just label it what it is and bring your attention back. So anything we hear outside and anything we feel in our body. Anytime you start to get a little lost, you can either narrow your attention back down or, you know, um, just remind yourself what you're doing. For instance, you can feel your whole body breathing. If you want to think about the whole body as breathing, that's fine. Wait for the breath to come in. And how does the body feel? The whole body. How does it feel as we breathe out? Same thing we were doing before, it's just now including the whole body. The same thing with the sound. As you're waiting for the breath to come in, what are you hearing? But we control it a little bit to get us back into awakeness. And then as we get more concentrated, we let ourselves, let our attention wander within the space we've chosen. Now, if you haven't already, you can include emotional feel in the body. And so it's just another sensation in the body, but you may have separated it out and you may have sort of identified with it while you were feeling the rest of the body. But it's okay now. If you're feeling things that you would normally call emotions, mostly across the face, throat, heart, gut area, that's mostly where those are felt, but not only places. Just include those in feel. We have the whole space of everything we hear out in the world and our whole body, including all of its emotional sensations. It's quite a lot of things that could be happening in our space of focus right now. So we have to sort of find this new way of being where we just stay awake to any and all of it. right now, in the way we've sort of taught it, we have two outward ones. We have the feeling out of our body and the hearing out of our body. And we have one inward one, that is the feeling in of our body, the emotional feel. Let's just add the visual sense. We're going to keep our eyes closed, but you can just also allow for the blank space behind your eyelids to be part of your focus now. So we now have a see, a hear, and a feel. We're open to the blank eye. So this is our see out. We're seeing the eyelids, anything we hear out in the world, and anything we feel in our body, emotional or otherwise. See, hear, see, see, hear, feel. Okay, so we're just going to add the final two elements here, which is our inner thoughts, our sound thoughts and our picture thoughts. And now there is no place that is not open to attention landing on. And you just want to be awake. What happens? Where does my attention go? Do I hear myself thinking? Do I see myself thinking? Do I hear something out in the world? Do I feel something out in the world? Do I feel an emotion? Do I see something out in the world or behind my eyelid? To complete this, you could open your eyes and continue with open awareness with a full see out, but that's not required. There is a kind of new form of relaxation the body drops into when you really stop controlling your attention and just surf on top of your experience. It's similar to the feeling of relaxation you get when you finally let go of controlling the breath, but it's even deeper because now you're letting go of control of the attention itself. And you're labeling see for anything you see behind the eyelids or imagine, hear for anything you hear out in the world, my voice or anything in your environment, or hear for anything you hear yourself say in your mind, or anything you imagine you hear in your mind. Feel for anything you feel in your body, emotional or otherwise. So you really start to get to notice what it means to be awake here and what it means to be asleep. Because you'll notice there's nothing, there's no part of your experience which is technically a distraction anymore. Every part of your experience is allowed in the meditation. So there's nothing being rejected. But you'll notice you still somehow get lost. That's what we're talking about. That's going to sleep. That's going into the movie of your life, your memory, your mind, the VR system that is your brain, and forgetting to experience what's actually happening now, which are sights and sounds and feelings in our body. Now, I've always found this sort of relaxing and peaceful, but that's not always going to be an experience. You can have resistance to this kind of practice. And if it's overwhelming, you just go back to a resource practice. That's number one. Number two, is you notice what the resistance is made of. If I find this uncomfortable, where am I feeling the uncomfort? That's where your attention is. Your attention is on discomfort. It's made of sensation. Feel the discomfort. Feel. And then if the discomfort releases, feel what it releases into. Your only goal is to stay awake. There can be a little caretaking that needs to be given to the mind, saying, listen, nothing you need to do needs to be done now. Those things you want to think about, you'll be able to think about them in 20 minutes. Right now, we're going to see, like, what is it like to stay awake? In many ways, this is no different than any other practice with addiction. Just like trying to put your phone down, right? I just want to watch one more video, get caught up in one more Instagram story or whatever it is. And that's just the same thing here. That's why Instagram or whatever is so addictive, because it's just like the mind. It's like, I just want to think this thought all the way through. I want to have this story my mind likes to tell me. I want to play it through all the way through one more time. Or I want to smoke this cigarette, or I want to, it's just the thing we get a little bit of reward to feel this thought all the way to the end. And so we're just do it a little different. We don't have to pick up the story. We can just let it play out and stay awake. Okay, so for the next 5 minutes, see, hear, feel. Can you catch, notice how your experience is arising in your attention every moment? Now, for those of you who've been doing this a while, the thing that will happen is the attention will start to naturally widen and ultimately it will dissolve. What does it mean for your attention to dissolve? It means you start to get, well, widen means you'll start to have less obvious object in the center of your attention. So it's almost like you're hearing and seeing something at the same time, you're feeling and tasting something at the same time, or you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff at one time. And that's all fine. You don't have to get it right You just sort of keep labeling it if you need to. You can also drop the labels and just keep staying awake. And then eventually it will dissolve. And this is a fairly big shift. And you're just awareness. And that means you're experiencing the see, hear, and feel of it all at once, like a symphony. The wholeness of your life. That's what you'll experience, the wholeness of your reality. But it's not a goal. You just keep practicing open awareness. And slowly the function of attention gets lost. So attention can just start to dissolve. Attention is wanting to find the thing to hook you. That's why it runs around. It's jumping around looking for something that will hook you, that will bring you to sleep. If you don't let it bring you to sleep, attention will lose that energy, will stop jumping around, it'll start to widen, it'll start to calm down, and eventually the illusion that is attention will dissolve. So I would invite, if you have started to get a nice sense of relaxation, drop the labels and take out any extra effort you've been applying. So we're already in the vein direction of doing nothing, right? But now we're going to just stop labeling and sit in the space and allow our attention to move and stay awake. If you haven't really gotten relaxed, if this has still been a work and a stressful kind of thing, then I would say finish up here by going back to something resourceful, going back to your breath, trying to come back to the present moment, using whatever tools you have to do that. You always want to round off your practice with something that brings you back to in the direction of calm or peacefulness or groundedness. Not by rejecting bad feelings, but just by noticing that there is available some calm, some groundedness, some safety. So we're going to finish up now. I do invite you to open your eyes as we finish up and maybe label again with uh, open eyes now. And you can do see, see, right? And you notice the color, notice the light to see that this can be something that one could actually do as one's walking around, but also let your body now move. And there's sort of a whole other aspect of our experience, which is action and doing. And that is also a sensory experience, but it is something one can learn to feel in the sense of how doing begins in the body and wanting begins in the body. Those are a little bit higher level, less deconstructed, and they're really useful ways to work on awakeness. So you sort of wake up and feel yourself wanting to stretch, wanting yourself to pat yourself or to take a drink or to get up or to look at something or to think about something. You can notice that and see if you can't stay on top of your experience as you transition into your everyday mind.